wow. I mean, just wow. I saw this movie like 20 hours ago, and I still cannot find words to describe how insanely awesome this was. I mean, okay, so yeah, I went to the midnight showing at my IMAX. Got there like 2 hours early. The theater was 100% full. I was waiting in the theater, and then pretty much from when the lights went down to the end credits was just 2.5 hours of just beyond awesome. Just totally mind-blowingly awesome. And I'm trying not to totally sugarcoat it here, but this really was just... This was better than the first. Yeah, I said it. This is really just better than the first. This is coming from a guy who's watched the first movie like almost every single day. I mean, this was really amazing. The action scenes were like 10 times bigger than the first movie. I mean, like, this was... I really cannot find words to describe this. This was definitely like the best movie of the summer. I even go so far as to say the best movie of the year. But then again, we're only halfway through the year, so I mean, this was just bigger and better in like every single way. Like the action scenes, they were just mind blowing. I can't even describe how big the action scenes were. It's like it's one of those things you gotta see it to believe it. You gotta just see how big the action is, because it is awesome. And like all the stuff, if you think like the trailers like giving like, a lot away, not even close. The trailers are just showing like little snippets, just tiny little like just bits of the giant action spectacle that is this movie. Because this really is just yeah, this really is a spectacle. This is just awesome. This is a definitely must see. This is just a have to see movie. It is like really one of the best action movies I've ever seen ever. And of course the visual effects, being Transformers, it was absolutely amazing. And then, and like if the first movie didn't win the Oscar for best visual effects, this one's definitely gonna. And the new Transformers, and well, I'll tell you about them, but I'll try to be as spoiler free as possible. And okay, like Soundwave, yes, Soundwave is in this movie, and without giving too much away, I can say they did do Soundwave justice in this one. They made up for leaving him out of the first one, because Soundwave in this movie did really blow you away. Soundwave was pretty cool, and it was really cool to see RC and the Autobot sisters. And I was kind of disappointed when I heard they weren't going to be in the first one, but they were pretty cool, awesome in this. But I'll elaborate more on that later on. Skids and Mudflap, they were pretty cool, and they provided most of the comic relief in the movie, and you were just like non-stop laughs in the theater whenever they were on screen. It was pretty awesome. And the Fallen is like really one of like the best villains I've ever seen in a movie. He's just awesome. Like his first scene, like Megatron's talking to him on Cybertron, it's really kind of creepy, because the Fallen, he's just a really just intimidating villain. I'd even say even more so than Megatron. There's scenes with him and Megatron, like you can see that Megatron's like kind of nervous and like hesitant, like he's really intimidated by this guy. And yeah, that's saying a lot. If you can intimidate Megatron, then you've got to be a pretty bad villain. And what else can I say? Devastator. Oh yeah, Devastator. What was really cool is that pretty much almost all of Devastator's scenes were in IMAX quality. If you've seen The Dark Knight, if you haven't seen The Dark Knight, then I don't know how much, I can't really describe to you, but for those of you who have seen The Dark Knight, and the scenes that expand into IMAX quality, that's pretty much the same deal with like almost all of Devastator's scenes. It really does feel like he's just this giant thing, and like when he's sucking up all the sand, and all the cars are just flying and just tumbling through the air, it again just absolutely blow you away. And speaking of the IMAX quality, is really It's not like The Dark Knight or like a lot of scenes or like in IMAX quality. There were just like 2 or 3 scenes in IMAX quality, but the ones that were just awesome. There's this big forest fight with Optimus, Megatron, Starscream that just filled up the whole screen. And in fact, it was just so big that Optimus Prime was actually like the real size he would have been if he was like in the theater. And there's one scene he was like just really went after. You've seen it in the trailers. It like just crashes into the ground, like spits out a tooth. He's like totally like filling up the whole screen, and it's like really like how Optimus would actually be, how big he would be, and it is just, it really adds to the whole experience. I don't know if I would call this a must-see in IMAX, but it definitely, anything that's shot with an IMAX, if it was shot with an IMAX camera, it definitely deserves to be seen in IMAX. Now, I did have just a few minor complaints about this movie, and the least of which being that Rachel Taylor and Anthony Anderson weren't in this, but, yeah. I was kind of upset hearing they weren't going to be in this, but actually watching the movie, I didn't really miss them. I just sat back and enjoyed the ride. Now, my one big complaint with this movie is just some of the new Transformers, really, they didn't have a lot of screen time. I mean, like Jolt, you probably heard about Jolt. He like does not say a word in this movie. He just like sometimes is just standing in the background. Like he gets like one dimension during the final battle. Like Jolt, come blah 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 blah. But he does something, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. It's kind of disappointing. I was just really excited to see RC and the Autobot sisters. They pretty much just have one scene. You've probably seen the trailers when like they're chasing after Sideways, the Audi R8, and that's kind of it. They show up like a little bit in the final battle, but I don't know, they didn't mention them too much, and I was really disappointed because they were like some of the people I was most looking forward to in this one. Then again, we've got a whole nother movie left. They could bring a lot of these guys more center stage in the next one. What's this there? Lost my train of thought. Curses. Wow, this is embarrassing. And the action scenes, they really sorry, I don't know where to go with this. The opening action scene, it was in Shanghai, China, with like there was like this whole new squadron called Nest, like of humans working together with the Autobots, coming in to like clean up the situation and attack the Decepticons. That was just absolutely awesome. I was like totally sucked in, like yes, this movie is just going to be so bad, it's going to be so everywhere. And it didn't disappoint. This movie did not disappoint at all. In fact, it took my expectations for this movie, put them in a blender, hit frappe, poured them down the garbage disposal, and then took the remains of that and ground them into powder. That's a little extreme, but you get my point. I'm serious. This movie, it just really is gonna blow you away. It's awesome. Must-see movie of summer, must-see movie of the year. I've been looking forward to this ever since the first one came out. It did not disappoint in the slightest. And I've heard a lot of really negative early reviews for this. Some people even used the word awful numerous times. I will admit, before seeing that movie, that did get me a little nervous. And after seeing the thing, I'm just like, yeah, I don't agree with those reviews in the slightest. I'm sure there are some people that'll hate this movie, but I think this is gonna become a box office smash no matter what. But anyway, well then again, it's just, you can think whatever you want about the movie, but definitely see this movie. It's just, this was absolutely spectacular. This is better than the first. This is bigger than the first. This was amazing. Full 5 out of 5 stars. Absolute must see. Go see it now. This is just a spectacle. And also, while we're on the subject, just got today Transformers figure, The Fallen. Pretty cool. Just yesterday I got my hands on the soundtrack album, which I posted a video about this a while ago. The songs on here are really awesome. I think this soundtrack, this is definitely a must-buy soundtrack. And Fallen action figure is pretty cool. Kind of hard to transform, but this is awesome. Then again, I'm not Frenzy227, the toy reviewer, here to talk to you about the movie. This is definitely just, you might as well just go see it right now, because it is a spectacle to behold, really. Seriously, go see it right now. Why are you still here? Just please go see it now. Now.